Hey, all. I am not feeling like writing my newsletter this week, so you're getting a video instead. A little update. So I had my second ketamine session last night. And so the first one, if you read my newsletter, it felt very euphoric and like I had lots of like happy tears and I was just like, really smiling the whole time. And there was nothing visual about it. It was just sort of the thoughts I was thinking. And the music actually was very like emotionally charged music. So the experience felt very positive to me. And then I had a follow up the next day with the clinician for Mind Bloom, and she decided to up my dosage by 50%. So this is what the little ketamine tablets look like. Oh, there we go. And so the first time I took two of them, which you don't swallow them, they dissolve in your mouth and you keep them in your mouth for like 7 minutes. And so she told me to use three the second time. So I did use three the second time. And if anything, it felt like the effect was less than the first time. I didn't feel as emotional. And of course, their soundtrack is different every time. And so the sound also wasn't quite as emotional. But again, I did not have any visuals. And I felt like my mind was actually less active than it was the first time. So, and then after the second time, they had me fill out this little questionnaire. I think trying to gauge like how powerful the session was, like especially the second one. And so I could tell by the questions they asked that I was supposed to be experiencing something much more than what I did. So again, I still didn't have any visuals the second time. And like I said, it felt more subdued than the first time, even though I used three tablets. So I'm trying to just trust the process because, I'm sure it's different for everyone, but, I kind of want, I kind of want the full experience. Like I had the courage to do this and, a psychedelic, it means something. The word psychedelic, it means it's supposed to be psychedelic. So I definitely don't feel like my experience has been psychedelic. So, and I've read a lot about dissociation and that's really the part of using psychedelics that helps shift your brain. And so do I feel like my brain has been shifted? No, I do not. And actually the clinician asked me that after my very first session. She's like, do you feel like your anxiety has shifted? This was after the first one. And I was like, no, not really. So I don't know what what all this means, but I am doing a lot of personal development and even just setting the intentions for each of my first two sessions has helped me think about specific things related to my anxiety that I would like to improve. And so all of that is positive. However, I did spend a lot of money to do this program, and I definitely want to make sure that I'm getting out of it what I'm supposed to and what I can. So, later today, I'm going to be on a Zoom with my guide, and we're supposed to be talking about integration. And there was a little video. There's like this whole step-by-step process thing on the Mind Bloom, my like dashboard. And, part of it's about integration. There was a little video saying, you might not understand everything that's happened during these sessions. And I'm like, I do. Like nothing has happened that was like unexplainable or didn't make sense to me. So again, I don't know, maybe I can talk to her and ask her like, does this happen to people? They need to up my dosage again? Although obviously that didn't help when they just did it. So I don't know. Anyway, the people are positive and the experience has been positive. I just want to make sure I'm getting the maximum benefit from it that I can, because that's kind of the way I operate. Speaking of maximum benefit, So, I was going to show you a few things that they sent me. So the other thing, I don't know if I wrote about this, but um, so you sign up for this program and you set up your first session for like a week later, and then they have to send you all the supplies and stuff, and they have this thing called a bloom box, and it's got all these supplies in it, and then they had to send me the medicine too. Well, the first time they shipped me the bloom box, it said it wasn't going to get there until the day after I was doing my first session. So they rushed another one, but they must have rushed another two, because now I have two of these boxes, and it's like a big box. I have two of them sitting under my TV table that I have to decide who to give them to. But it's got this really nice eye mask in it, which was completely drenched in my tears the first time, but then I didn't even cry as much. I hardly cried at all the second time, which I thought I would just be like sobbing and bawling the second time because it would have been so much more intense, but I did not. But this is a really nice eye mask that I can use for travel later. And then they also give you this really nice blood pressure cuff, which has been good. So the first time when I had to Zoom with my guide beforehand, she made me do, well, I actually took my blood pressure throughout the day, if you read my newsletter, and it started at like 90/60, it ended up at like 128 over something. And then yesterday, surprisingly, like even up to a half an hour before my session, because I was like, oh, now I know what it is. Like, I don't feel so nervous. It was only like 116, but then right before I got into my session, it was 128, which is really high for me, or 130. I think it was even 139. It was 139, right? And I was like, oh, that's really weird that it just popped up, even though I already, I don't feel as nervous about it. But anyway, it was all fine. And then what else I got in here? Not too much else, mostly just the journal. And yeah, even yesterday, like I said, there weren't a lot of thoughts in my head yesterday while I was doing this, and I didn't have a lot to journal about. So I don't know. But anyway, they sent this very nice, very luxurious box, and I have three of them. The other thing, so think I had mentioned about I was wearing a heart monitor, which so I've been kind of taking it off on the weekends because I've been doing stuff and like going swimming and stuff. And so I took it off last weekend, and I have not been able to put it back on because I don't want to. So I should really put it back on for at least a couple of days. I'm supposed to send it back on the 1st, which is next week. It was entertaining to wear it for the first couple of weeks, but then I was like, it was just too much. I have so much going on right now. It was just too much. So it's in my bedroom. I'm trying to decide, because then I'm going to want to take it off again this weekend. Which today's Wednesday. So I could put it on right now and take it off like Friday afternoon. Anyway, they're going to get what they're going to get from that. I didn't wear it during any of my ketamine sessions. I didn't wear it during sex, which I was thinking that might be interesting for them, but I have not. So I've not given them any interesting spikes of, activities. So I'll be interested to see what it ends up looking like. Other than that, I've felt a little overwhelmed the past couple days. I set some goals for myself for this year, and I definitely feel like I had too many things I wanted to do, like these videos. But I don't hate any of the things that I said I wanted to do or that I want to do. It's just a lot. And then the whole personal development thing, like as soon as I've kind of been doing that all year. I had the coaches, and now I just have a therapist who, I don't know. I told her I was going to do these ketamine sessions, and to be honest, she seemed a little taken aback, and she was like, I don't think you need me much longer. I'm like, okay, well, I really like her, and she's helped me tremendously just in like a couple sessions, because she set me in a direction and it was the right direction. And I've learned a lot just since then. That was June. So I don't know. I mean, I'd like to keep seeing her for a while longer. She really has some good insight. So I hope she doesn't feel threatened by this whole ketamine thing. And doesn't seem to be doing it for me yet anyway. So I just finished the book Attached, which if you haven't read it, it's really good. And what I liked about it was, there's the whole codependency stuff, which, I've kind of been in tune with for about 15 years. And sometimes that makes you want to be too independent because you're like, I shouldn't rely on anyone. I shouldn't be dependent on anyone. I shouldn't, be needy or whatever. But this book Attached looks at kind of the other side of that and says, you know what, we are interdependent beings and we do need each other, and couples should be able to rely on each other. And so that kind of made me feel good. But it was just a really good book overall. It's got some great advice in it and some great insights. So Attached, if you want to read that. So now that I've finished reading that, I actually started reading Triggered, which I think will be interesting, but that wasn't part of my original plan. So the only thing left on my sort of personal development plan for the rest of the year is I got the Love Addicts Anonymous. I don't think I'm a bona fide, I'm not a love addict. There's definitely levels. Okay. And I'm not at the level where I need to go to a meeting. Okay. So, but I thought, it would probably be beneficial to buy like the Love Addicts Anonymous book, which I already read. And then there's a workbook. So I'm like, I'll just go through the workbook and see if there's anything in there, that'd be beneficial. And then I have a abandonment workbook, which I think that's going to really be interesting. I got that from a girlfriend. So I'm going to do those two workbooks, and those are going to be my last kind of, along with the rest of the ketamine treatments, it's going to be kind of my last personal development kind of stuff of the year, other than just other books I decide to read. But those, I'm kind of committed to doing those. So I feel good that I'm kind of at the end of the things that I feel like I really need or want to do for that. And then if I do anything else, that's just extra, but I'm not going to feel like obligated, because I'm glad, but I've really been sort of pushing all this personal development stuff this year, and it's a good year for it since my parents died and just the pandemic and relationship stuff that already I'm seeing tremendous improvement and just like tremendous results from the things I've already learned about myself this year. So I'm very happy about that. And I'd like to get some work stuff done now also. I just put together a planner for myself, like a goal planner, and sort of accountability stuff and kind of daily routine keeper tracker stuff, which I'll get all organized and I'll start using that planner. And then, a month from now, I'll have thrown the planner out the window, or just like the planner is collecting dust somewhere. But I'm going to try not to do that. I really, really am. Because the planner does help me. So I have a card game that I'm going to do, like maybe not a final design, but do like a loose design for, and then I'm going to print off a set. I'm going to do it at moo.com, and I'm going to use square postcards, because you can order like 50 postcards and have the backs all be different. So the backs will be like whatever the individual cards are, and then I'll have like a design on the other side. So I'm going to do that. And then I also was going to print off a bunch of postcards with inspirational things on one side of them. Maybe I'll do those square too, now that I think about it. And hide them around town. So when someone finds it, it says like, "You're beautiful," or "You deserve the best," or whatever, something wonderful like that. but then it'll also be, and it'll have like my branding on it and the website link, but it'll also be an actual postcard that they can send to someone. So then they're taking that positive message and sending it to someone else. So I'll probably try to do like, maybe I can come up with 100 different inspirational things to say, but however many I come up with, I'll just do all the backs, different like that. So I kind of, you know me, I love things that you can touch. So I love designing things online, like, website businesses or whatever, but I also love things you can touch. So I'm kind of in the mood to create a couple things that I can touch. So those are the two designs that I'm working on. I just kind of started, I got the templates downloaded, so now I can design them in Photoshop. So I'm kind of excited about that. And other than that, I'm just working on client work and trying to keep everyone happy, including myself. So that's my update for this week. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as you enjoy reading my newsletter, because some weeks I just, it's already Wednesday and this has to come out on Thursday. So some weeks I'm just like, I'm just going to say it. So I hope you're all having a fantastic week, and you'll hear from me next week.